Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of NintendoFuse GameChat. Today we're going to be discussing Skyrim, and today I have Blake with me today, not Barry.
Hey everybody, I'm Blake, and this is Skyrim.
Now, did you actually play this on earlier platforms back in 2011 when it was released?
Yes, I did a little bit. I just kind of scratched the surface, Greg, of the Xbox 360 version. I think I had put it in maybe a couple different times and played like through the intro thing and a few more things, but nothing like what I put in here. And also, I feel like I haven't put in that much, So we're
Yeah.
really going to be interesting discussing this wonderful game.
Yeah, I had
What
the
about you?
PC version and
Oh,
I had a number of hours put into it, but nowhere near like not I've already passed that in the Switch, so I just
yes.
wanted like a sake of comparison to see if everything that you played is looking better on Switch, or if you think it's was better on the other platforms. What did you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, from what I remember, I feel like it's just a little bit better on the Switch than, especially if you think about like the graphic wise, and I feel like, they just kind of upped things a little bit more. And the great thing about the Switch version, though, that just made it better than having it on other systems is, the portability of it. So being able to see it in handheld was actually the better way, I think. After kind of like checking it out and seeing what it was like, I thought that was just it just looked better. So
Yeah, I definitely
so
agree. I mean,
yeah.
even though having it on a PC, I felt like even everything like kind of went smoother. I mean, I had a minimum requirement PC, so there was a lot more noticeable lag actually on the PC, but the Switch was all like very fine tuned and very quick loading times and everything like that. And like you said, I did love the portability aspect of it. That was one of my favorite parts about just being able to play it anywhere and everywhere. So
Oh yeah, oh yeah. That just kind of like added to the experience a little bit more because you did get to take it with you. So yeah, I feel like if you only play Skyrim on your Switch docked, I think you're kind of missing out on some stuff. It might also kind of, I feel like it didn't look as good that way. It just kind of was like, oh, we're gonna up the size of the screen, even though it's still the same resolution and all of that. So I think that's something you have to experience because to be able to hold it in your hands and just see how it looks and play it that way, it is wonderful. So yeah, yeah,
now, what did you think of like the controls and everything? Did you think that fit like Switch Joy-Cons
yeah.
or Pro
I
controller?
I go back and forth. Like I honestly, I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of like how you use your weapons, like using the triggers and stuff like that to like swing and do things like that. I didn't really get a chance to try some of the motion control stuff. I don't know how that feels or what that's like, but I just didn't really. I don't. I feel like it lags a little bit or something when I hit the things, and I don't really care for that. So I struggle after a little bit. I'm just kind of like, okay, well, I'm doing this, but I don't know if it's actually working right. So some of the controls I struggle with. Did you get to experience some of the motion control stuff or any of that things?
Actually, not. I'm not usually
Oh
one
yeah,
to do the
yeah,
motion controls. I kind of ignored that in Zelda and stuff like that too. So
yeah, yes,
I'm
yeah.
more about just like, all right, let's move it. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
the
so how
double
do you
trigger.
feel about them a little bit, Greg?
Yeah, the double triggers took a little bit getting used to.
Yeah.
I also kind of forgot like how X is kind of one of the more key buttons on the controller. I was kind of figuring that would be like a lesser use or cancel a type button, but this was like a more of like a confirmation one. But then
Mm.
hitting the Zelda DLC I saw was actually very comparable. So I was like, oh, I didn't even realize I was using that button so much in Zelda either.
Oh
So
yeah. Oh yeah.
um,
Mm. I can see that. That's understandable, I think. So, hmm hmm. Yeah. Did you try out any of the like these fun things? Yeah, like the little amiibo stuff and unlock things, or yeah.
Forgot to scan. I was
Oh,
thinking I was going
really?
to do it, and then I mine just sit behind me and just collect dust right back
Great.
there. It just been
It's so good.
they just kind of sit up there, and I don't really remember to scan them in all the
Oh,
time. So
oh yeah, oh yeah. I can
did you?
understand that, but
So did you get to use some of the equipment? Is it really good?
yeah, yeah. I really like, especially at the beginning of the game. You can tell that like the Master Sword, after a while, you'd be like, okay, I'm gonna ditch this thing because there's way more powerful weapons that you could go to and put in your arsenal. But right at the beginning, if you have those things, you are at an immediate advantage. So I had those at the beginning and just kind of like took out people quite a bit with the Master Sword right there. So yeah, but it's kind of like, well, I feel like I'm kind of cheating a little bit right now, but it's also really pretty cool to see and to have those in there. I still haven't unlocked the cloak though, so I got the Hylian shield and the Master Sword, but not the like the outfit. So, but that's the one that I was like least caring about, you know. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So the actual equipment is actually you'll get a lot better stuff than that stuff though. So it's
Yeah, yeah. So it's only going to last you probably, you might use it for the first 20, maybe 30 hours of your gameplay, and then it'd probably be fading about then, because then you're going to be like, oh, if I do use it, it's going to be like only for the sheer like excitement that I get to wield the Master Sword, you know? So yeah, it's really like, yeah, it's kind of a mediocre blade actually, which I can understand because you can get at the beginning of the game, so it's probably like, well, I don't want to give you like the Master Sword and have it be just the greatest
use it the
weapon.
entire game.
Yeah, use it the entire game. So yeah, yeah, it's kind of like you're supposed to kind of get to a point where you're like, all right, I've kind of outgrown this, I think, So yeah, but it's fun while you have it.
I'll
Hmm.
definitely try to scan it in and try and get it.
Ooh,
So
yeah, yeah, you should. That'd be good.
I'm
Mm.
still somewhat early enough in the game.
Oh yeah.
Do you think it still also holds up like the test of time at all? Because I know some like retro games kind of might feel like they kind of get outgrown and outdone by other games.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I think so. I think Skyrim and all its quirks and little moments of mess up and all of that. I think it does last the test of time. I think it's one that Bethesda's just kind of like, well, let's put it on every console imaginable and just see where it goes. And they did a great job with this port. So I honestly, I was like, this is kind of I say is one of your like top five must haves on your Switch, really, just to have and just be like, I can play this anytime I want and yeah, enjoy this world a little bit at any time. So I think if you've got a Switch and you like the side of like RPG stuff, then yeah, you probably you would do a good thing for yourself to grab it. So yeah, seems good. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely share. I think it definitely holds up the most part.
Yeah.
The main thing that I was missing was Zelda really made me get used to climbing, and you can't climb in Skyrim. So it's like, hey, I see this
Mm-hmm.
mountain. Oh, I
Oh
can't go
man.
up it. I can't go. I gotta find the
Yes.
pathway up or go around.
Yes. Oh yes. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
But
Oh man.
but other than
Mm.
that, the combat is top notch. It's very fun. I had
Yeah.
fun like helping out NPCs and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So I
Oh.
he's sank so many hours into it, and there's still like at least another couple hundred left to go.
It's
So
so true. There's so much you can do in this game that it's just like I don't know. I somewhat get a little bit overwhelmed to put it in because I'm like I probably sunk about maybe 15 hours or something like that, 20 hours into it, but I'm like, it feels like it's one of those games that I'm just kind of like, oh, I'm going to invest so much time in, and I'm going to get lost in this world almost, that yeah, and it didn't draw me in as much as Zelda did, so maybe that's why I have a little bit less time in it. That I'm like, oh, I don't know, I could play something else, for a little while, and yeah, but I also I like people that would know me and stuff would get to know that I don't really play any scary games at all. I'm not a horror game fan whatsoever, right? So,
Yeah.
but there's even moments in Skyrim that I can kind of say I'm like I get a little scared about, like if something just jumps out at me or something, and I'm just like playing in the dark or something in bed. It's just like this is not good. So yeah, I'll stay away from every single thing that comes out like that on the Switch. So yeah. Other people may laugh at me, but yeah, it's okay. That's right. I'll play my Mario and be okay. So that's right.
Bright colors.
That's right. Yep. King Boo doesn't scare me. So yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely some of those dungeons where stuff like pops out at you, or you can like trigger a trap, and then all of a sudden like some spikes stick out of nowhere or something, and
Yes.
or
Yeah.
shoots like a fireball at you, or
Oh
it's
man. Yeah. These like dead, Draugrs things that just like come to life and everything, and they're just like they surround you. Especially if I'm like in the first person viewpoint, I can't really see what's happening around me as much. So I'm kind of like I get nervous. I like to battle that way in first person, but I like to like when I'm exploring just zoom back into the third person viewpoint. So
oh
yeah. Hmm.
yeah, I do like having the option, but I've always stuck by the first person thing. Like I look for like the audio cues and the visual cues when there's like something that's attacking you, and you can easily hear like something's like trying to bite you or whatever.
So yeah, good for you, brother. That's right.
It's like, oh wait, I need to look down.
Oh man,
Kill
yeah.
little skeever.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Oh, there's a cheetah after me.
Oh man. Yeah. Oh, well, those things. Mm-hmm.
Did
Yeah.
you find yourself like getting like forging weapons and armor and anything like that, or did you not really dabble into
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, a little bit. I kind of, just kind of scratched the surface with some of those things, and like mostly the things I worked on were like improving some of my weapons and stuff like that, and just making them a little bit better. And then after that, I had scanned my amiibos, and I was like, well, I got the Master Sword and the Hylian Shield, so I kind of stopped for a while. So yeah, that's right. But yeah, I was just like, well, these are good. So yeah. So. I think I think that's kind of a cool like added thing, and it just makes you want to spend even more time in the world and like collecting every little bitty thing. And you walk up to something and you're just like, oh, I've got 1,000 of those little flowers, but I'm gonna grab them because I might need another. So yeah, it's, yeah. Oh, and you get distracted so easily. You can just talk
No.
on that, Greg, can't you? That's right.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, there's some more wool baskets. I gotta take them to the store. They might
that's
want to buy some.
that's
Give me
right.
give me 2 coins for this
Oh, it's
basket
so true. Oh man. Hmm.
that weighs 10 pounds.
That's right. Yes. Oh yes. Hmm.
Did you have any problem with the inventory system? Because I know like you can easily like hit
Oh.
your limit and then you're like can't really move.
Oh yes. Oh, that's right. That is such a pain right at the beginning to like, especially until you've added up more stamina and everything to you, where you are able to carry a little more. Oh yeah, I had to watch that all the time. So, and I always felt like, oh, I'm gonna have to leave this behind, but I still want it because it would be worth money. I could go sell it. So, yeah, that's one of those things that I get a little bit saddened by, but I also understand you can't just grab everything in the world. So yeah, but yeah, it just seems like there's a lot I feel like I've left behind at other places that I want to go back and grab now. So maybe I'll spend some time doing that on a mission or something. So yeah. So, what about
So
you, bud?
yep, I definitely maxed it out really easily and quickly, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh wait, I can't carry two iron swords. I need to throw one down.
Yes, yes. Uh-huh. Exactly. Uh, I don't know why they don't let you do that. That's just sad. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I understand some other games do like inventory systems, but maybe this one could have had been a little bit nicer, like not have some of the stuff away like 18 and you only have like
Yeah.
300, so it's like that's a
Mm-hmm.
pretty good percentage of your initial kind of carrying weight, so
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that because even like the Legend of Zelda had an inventory system where you couldn't take more swords or more armor or more stuff or like shields, bows and arrows, that stuff, and I didn't feel as burdened by it almost. I don't know why, maybe because it wasn't by like a weight system, but it was by like how many of a certain thing you can grab, so yeah. And the only one that I thought, well, I wish I could have a few more weapons just because I wanted to have more in that game, but it just was like it felt better used, so yeah, that it just wasn't going to all weigh so much, so yeah, yeah, maybe that's it, but
and the skill system is also very quite massive. Did you dabble into some of the different skills and
really
do you like
not
it?
too much actually, Greg. I honestly, I kind of was just like, well, I'm just going to kind of play through as much as I can of, this one way that I want to go. And, I'll get to some of that as I've gone. So I didn't even like use some of my, like the perks things I think that you use to increase stuff. I'm like, yeah, no, I haven't really went that deep into those things. So yeah, you might have to speak on some of that actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was mostly looking at like the speech ones and some like the lock picking, like general
Oh,
use.
okay. Like as you play, you kind of increase it, like the one-handed stuff or
Yeah,
blocking, or yeah, that's right. So yeah, I kind of like some of that stuff because it does help you show like how you will level up by speaking to some people, stuff like that.
yeah,
So yeah, so I do appreciate that on some occasions. So yeah, yeah, it feels like this game could definitely have like even more of a grind to it than you might expect, because you are just kind of like, well, I want to keep leveling up this, so yeah, do whatever I
yeah,
can, so yeah, it's very
yeah.
interesting. Mm.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to like do the smithing perk so I can make like whatever like the chain equipment and and
Yes, yeah.
not just be stuck with like leather and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense,
yeah,
so yeah, yeah, I like that.
yeah.
Hmm.
Let's see. Covered a lot of the gameplay and controls and a lot of the
Yeah.
major features and everything.
Mm.
Did you think of anything at least along those lines that I didn't touch on at all? Or
Oh yeah. Boy, I don't know. Um, there is a lot of the um, DLC things too that came with the Switch version. You got all the stuff that came in afterwards, so you are kind of getting a added bonus and more time spent in some of that stuff, like the Dawn Guard, the Hearthfire, the Dragonborn. All those things
yeah,
that you get to kind of add to your experience. So even if you beat like through the entire thing, that this game is just so massive, you still have more to do. So I think it's not unrealistic that some people. I think one of my friends, truthfully, has about 400 some hours into Elder Scrolls Skyrim. So I'm like, I don't know how he did that, but he did it. So I'm like, that's all impressive to him. So yeah, but I think it just talks about how gigantic and big and massive this world really is. So um, that's what
yeah.
I think about with like a lot of the gameplay, a lot of the things that you have in it.
Yep, I definitely like the fast travel, being able to move around very quickly. So
Yeah, yeah. That's
that definitely
right.
came in handy to return to town and be like, hey, I complete this quest.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Once you pick up on that and you get to do that a little bit, oh yeah, that's a wonderful thing. That's right. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, did you at least battle the first dragon at all then?
Yes, I did. So that's right. So took him down after a little bit because I did do after I got to the point where you could face him. I was just kind of like, well, I'm gonna kind of wander away. I don't really need to bother with that for a little bit. So yeah, so I waited a little bit, and I actually that was like one of the last things I did, and it was so far into the game for me because I did go and just get lost and go search other places, and yeah, so yeah, it's a good experience, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it felt really good taking it down and just
right,
like
right.
wasn't just like he was just gonna sit there and he just thwack at it. He was actually like flying in the sky trying to shoot fire at you. I mean, it was
Oh, it's
very
so true.
awesomely done. I loved those like
Mm,
cinematics of that kind of stuff. That was so pretty, so
mm-hmm.
gorgeous.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm, it's something. It's pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, you think about I was trying to ponder some of the like the music. I tend to kind of like some of that stuff, so I was trying to remember. It feels like in my mind I reflect about like a lot of what Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild brought to it, like the peacefulness, the wilderness, the sounds out there, do you remember anything sticking out to you much about that?
Not really. The most
Yeah.
stuff that comes to my mind is just like how a lot of the like a lot at least the voice actors,
Mm.
like all the characters, they all have like added voices, and it's like adds so much more like to hear everybody actually talking and everything.
Yeah, yeah. It's really true. That's right. That's right. Because that does enhance the experience a little bit, So yeah, some of it I found to be kind of I don't know if you could say kind of lame conversations, but yeah, people would just be talking about, something about the weather, the flowers, or something like that, and I'm like, that really kind of adds to some of the experience, though. Really, if you think about
Well,
it,
yeah.
so yeah,
I mean, everyone's can't have something useful or a quest, so it's like
right, yeah, that's right. Yeah. I'd really be bogged down with time, so that's right.
now to the most famous quote, like, "Oh, I took an arrow to the knee."
Well, yes, that's right. Yep. Mhm. Oh man.
Nothing's complete without hearing one of the White Run guards say that.
Oh, so good. So good. Yep. Mm,
All right, well, I think we pretty much
yeah.
touched on everything, and I would definitely recommend everyone check out the game. It's
Mm,
completely awesome. It holds the
mm,
test of time, especially if you haven't played it before, or
mm,
maybe you just want to dive back in and get something easily get lost into. It's
mm,
just a fantastic game overall, and
mhm.
definitely very fun to play.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely experience it for yourself at some way, shape, or form. There's multiples of different platforms that you can play this on, so you can find anything that your heart desires. I personally do recommend the Switch version. I just think the added ideas of amiibo functionality and the added way of portability just blows everything else out of the water, truthfully, to me. So I would definitely recommend that just to experience it in that way. So yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm going to
yeah.
be loading it up soon. To be scanning in those amiibos sitting behind me here.
That's
So
right. I bet you will. That's right. So that's awesome. That's so good. Yeah, it'd be
I'm on
good.
a
It'd be good.
I'm on a quest to hunt down some people chasing me. So what better way to do it than to
Oh
bring out the
yes.
Master Sword?
That's right. That's right, brother. That's it. That's gonna be good. So, yeah. Well, I hope you get it right away, Greg. All right, brother.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, you bet.
All
Oh
right,
man. Thanks,
thanks for
everybody.
tuning into our episode of Game Chat. You can check out NintendoFuse.com for all of our other discussions and videos, and we have reviews and industry talk, podcasts, everything. Be sure
Mm-hmm.
to check out our YouTube channel. We also have a number of videos we post every single week. And this is Greg signing out. Thanks, Blake,
Bye,
for joining.
everybody.